Let me just introduce myself. Yeah, I'll be louder. I'm just moving the microphone closer to me. I'll do that. Quick introduction about myself. My name is Ashok, and I have 20 plus years of experience in IT. Last 3.5 years has been actively in big data analytics, and I do training and I also do product consulting besides this. So uh, I'm very happy to be part of this webinar, and I really look forward to spend the next 1 hour very effectively with all of you, so that I look forward to learn with you guys as well. So thank you. Let's get started, friends. So in today's session, so we are going to see how to improve customer service with big data, right? So let's look at generally, we will see, we'll talk about big data and see how it enhances the customer service. So let's along the way, we will also discuss some of the examples, some of the case studies and things like that. Yeah. Okay. So agenda, as I just spelled it out, um, sorry, rise of big data and Hadoop. We are going to see major companies using Hadoop, because if you really see where Hadoop is headed, the footprints are steadily increasing, and it is just I mean, it's a very ballistic curve. I don't need to say much beyond this. It's a ballistic curve. Scenarios in customer service where big data can help, right? So we will definitely discuss this. So here is your big data. Predominantly, big data, especially in the unstructured data. So back in good old days, in the traditional, when the traditional systems were doing their job so correctly, a lot of data was coming there. It was all primarily structured, especially uh, the data that was processed by your RDBMS and all that, very structured data, right? And people realized as we moved further and further, the social media, the advent of social media and the advent of, the rise of uh, the smart devices. Today we are talking about Fitbit, we are talking about IoT, we are talking about varieties of devices, right? Every device, it's going to create loads and loads of data, right? So today, what was the hard disk in good old days, that's even those things, right? It'll be consumed in probably half a day today, or even less than that. And that's the velocity of the data that is really growing. Plus, it is coming from varieties of sources, fine, and also, the volume. Obviously, it contributes to the volume. So that's the alarming rate. The data is growing, right? So someone is asking me, Ashutosh, what is the difference between structured and unstructured? So when I say structured data, it has got a, uh, anything that is used by our RDBMS, which has got a definite schema attached to that. Unstructured is, text data, video data, audio data, your JSON data, your XML data, the logs coming from application server, the web server, all these are unstructured, right? So as things are growing around us, the unstructured data, if you look at this histograms, right? If you look at this graph, right? The 2005, and look at this, its unstructured data is steadily growing. It's more than 80%, right? So as we go even further down the line, it's going to be even more, it's going to be like maybe 90% or even more than that of unstructured data. So that is steadily growing. And the information, as the slide says, it is doubling every 2 years. By 2020, there will be 5,200 gigabyte of data for every person on the earth. Look at the, amount of data we would have generated, right? That's the kind of data we are talking about. If someone does customer profiling, probably to me that is the or not customer profiling. If someone does, uh, let's say, what do we call human profiling? I'm just taking a random guess here. So that's going to be like phenomenal, right? That's going to be phenomenal. So that's the one we are talking about, right? So, and we are also talking about 40,000, 40 zettabytes. Can someone tell me how many zettabytes we are, what is zettabytes here? How many zeros should be following a zettabyte? Can someone take a guess? Any guesses? We all know megabytes, we know gigabytes, we know kilobytes, right? Just take a blind guess. We know petabytes, yeah, terabytes, yeah, thanks. Yeah, how many, uh, I think 40 zettabytes is the amount of data we would have reached by 2020, right? Which is 40 followed by 21 zeros. I think, yeah. So that's the kind of data we are talking about. So that is the kind of data, we are referring to, right? So just moving on, opinions about big data. Look at this. Data are becoming the raw material of business, right? Raw material. Um, what it goes to say is it's one of the most essential things, right? Torture the data, it'll confess to anything. The world is one big data problem. Information is the oil, analytics is the combustion engine. In God we trust, all others must bring data. Wow, look at that, guys. So, friends, I just want to, this is all, very radical statement about big data, but there are few exceptions, but generally, even in our own organization or where you're studying, some of you could be students here, right? So what I have seen, like most of the organizations, wherever you go, even before the big data came into existence, if you give something that is backed by data, right, then people start, your statement, whatever you make, has a fair standing, right? Instead of just talking through the air, right? Even if you go for go for investment, right? They look at, what is your, your forecast, your revenue projection, whatever, right? If you are supporting it with meaningful data, then you have a better chance, right? That's how the thing is. This one says it all, right? In God we trust, all others must bring data. It's as simple as that, right? So there are few exceptions. I would say maybe one or two. You can even count it, like folks like Steve Jobs, right? He's one of the very radical thinking guy. He said, I will not go and survey the market and look for what people want. I would rather define what people would want, right? So that's a very, what to say, it's a that kind of thing, right? It's probably 1 in a billion, right? That may not happen, but he succeeded. He also had the financial muscle. He also had, all those things contributed to the success. But but he had that vision. So that needs to be told as well. But that's a very, very, very rare case. But generally, we look at data and we try to, do things in a very organized way. Okay. Opinions. Big data with Hadoop. So if you look at the current scenario, unstructured data, right? So friends, before I move to big data with Hadoop, I wanted to ask you a very, very simple question. Can someone tell me your thoughts? What is big data? What is Hadoop? In just in one line, both of these things. Just in one line. Don't give me big definitions. Big data. What is big data? Just give me one or two words. What is Hadoop? One or two words. Okay. I think awesome. I think I'm not even able to see the scroll. It's like flying. Okay, that's the spirit, guys. Yeah, awesome. Methodology, framework, loads of volume of data. Okay, fantastic, folks. I agree with all of you. All of you are right. Okay. See, just want to put it in a very, very, very small nutshell, right? If I want to put it as a nutshell explanation, just say big data is a problem, right? Big data is a problem. Okay, big data is a problem, and Hadoop is the framework. Pretty simple, right? Big data is a problem, Hadoop is the framework. So anything with the data, it existed even earlier, right? Data was there all along and all that, but The big data, all of a sudden, people are not able to, because they were structuring the data, they were archiving the data, they were taking only part of the data and all that. Today, they're not in a position to do that because everything has become pretty vital, right? They cannot ignore the data what they are getting, right? So I'll come to those slides, but big data scenario, right? You cannot ignore it anymore. Okay, so unstructured data is exploding because unstructured data, there must be a mechanism to process this data. So you cannot ignore this. Secondly, organizations take fact-based decisions. Of course, you have to back it up with data-related facts. Bigger the data, more accurate is the decision, right? Bigger the data. Okay, and Hadoop can digest all kinds of data. You can torture it to help you make your data-driven decisions. What is the difference between, okay, I'm getting a question here. What is the difference between traditional RDBMS and big data? Traditional RDBMS, Rohit, the point is, it can only take, what to say, I mean, they are all time tested, and it's a brilliant concept that kind of worked 2 decades back, and it's still working. It consists of rows and columns, as people are explaining. The big data, it can be structured, it can be unstructured, it can be like, it's very, very voluminous, as someone wrote it as 3 V's and all that. Yes, but the traditional systems do not scale to process such a volume, such a variety, such a velocity and all that, right? So they are better suited or best suited to handle small to medium size applications, right? They cannot handle a very large, humongous data, right? So that is the difference for you. And Hadoop can, okay, um, just moving on, major companies using Hadoop, right? Look at this. We have this is just a very, very small subset of that. But this is a good enough one. Amazon, Cloudera, all these are like, they're all offering their own Hadoop flavors. Hortonworks, WebTrends, Databricks, MapR, Cloud Physics. Yeah, this is something new to me, but most of them are offering this, right? Major companies. Facebook. No. These are all vendors of, apparently. That's what Nitin is asking. Facebook. No, most of them are, these are all they are using Hadoop, but like for example MapR, Cloudera, Hortonworks, these guys are actually providing Hadoop solutions as well, right? Microsoft Big Data Insights is there, right? Big Insights, and IBM has got HT Insights, right? All these players are there, and so many companies are using Hadoop. Definitely Facebook is using Hadoop for sure, but it's not like, we don't have the complete list here, but we're just giving you a taste. How big data can improve customer experience? Now we are coming to that. But we see, initially we just give you the flavor of data, where it is headed and all that. Then we are also talking about how it is growing with Hadoop, and who are all the leading players in Hadoop, and who are all the users of Hadoop and all that. Now we are coming to the point how big data can improve customer experience, right? Now look at this, serve before they ask, right? Remember when the zookeeper had, okay, look at this guys, this looks like a very wishful thinking, right? If, this looks like a wishful thinking, but for all you know, this is becoming a reality, okay? But remember this, right? I mean, this is like a scenario, like he's already got everything packed, wrapped up, ready to go, even before you told her what you wanted, right? That, the service levels are just crossing the boundaries today, right? It is like the customer satisfaction, it has got a, that's one of the key metric for any retailers or any kind of, these kind of shops. So they look at, uh, most of this, big time supermarkets in US, like, let me just quote some examples. India is definitely catching up, friends, because, India's unorganized retail, which is called the Hadoop, I'm sorry, Kirana, right? Kirana, Kirana kind of thing, right? Even Amazon has started, for Kirana. Those things are, unorganized retail, which contributes like 90% market, right? only whatever you see like retail outlets, whatever you see in India is just 10%, right? Even less than that. So that 90% like untapped, right? All those tuck shops, those kind of shops. So they are also trying to join this mainstream. Look at the market potential, right? So we are seriously, and just look at it, right? If you go there, if they'll, most of this, big supermarkets in US, I'm again switching gear there, they are all become very smart because they look at the buying patterns of their customers, right? Okay, it's just not the loyalty points and all those things. That's even, we a lot of supermarkets have started following. Now they are tracking the patterns, buying patterns, right? Consumers buying patterns. Then they make out what kind of products are they going to look for it. They start sharing those discount coupons, promotions, offers pertaining to those things, right? How just that is absolutely going to delight the customers, right? Instead of just giving them a huge, bunch of things, which most of the customers, they will lose interest by looking at such things. You just give them, okay, what they want, right? They know the target customers so very well. You just give them what they want, right? Or the coupons, anything that is very, very relevant. So right products, right customers, right channel, predict the future. Okay. So by doing this, they are going to widen their customer base, right? It's going to delight the customers. It's a win-win for both. Happy customers, happy retailers, because they're widening their customer base, right? So this is what is going to happen. Um, okay, I have a, well, uh, let's, friends, I have a small request here. Like somebody is asking how to transfer a career shift ETL site to Hadoop. Yeah, I'll probably, because I'll come back to this question maybe if the time is there, but I just want to say that, you can ETL to Hadoop, definitely, it is connected. You can give it a shot, like if you are in a data warehouse, you can definitely come to, Hadoop, right? So Hadoop is also a storage. If you want to go, you can think of it. It's a how to transfer is a, it's a very generic question, but there are channels is all I'm saying. I want to give a very generalized answer. Which Indian company is ahead in Hadoop implementation? So that is, there are lots and lots of companies, uh, lots and lots of companies, right? Many of them are gone to Hadoop. They are moving further. Uh, how about mainframe? Yeah, anybody can move into this, guys, right? So friends, can I stick to this topic for some time? Then I will come back to your questions, because these questions are taking me away from the main channel, right? Sure. Okay. Um, so we will discuss these questions if the time is there towards the end, right? So let's do that. Now, right products, again I'm reiterating, right customers, right channel, and predict the future, right? Very, very futuristic trends, things have become very, very powerful, right? It's not like, the business, a lot of people keep, still they have this thing, right? There is something called business analysis and business intelligence. What is the difference, right? So the point is, business intelligence, whatever you do, they're all historical trends, right? So that's the one we keep, most of the BI reports, using Cognos, in lot of players are there in that, right? So we can use many reporting engines, okay? Then we can, business objects, so many things are there. You can print those reports. The BI always operates on top of a RDBMS, typically. Now, we are talking about business analysis, right? That is, you know, that's going to be more futuristic, right? That's what we need, right? Very, very futuristic. We don't want, I mean, of course, I'm not saying that, BI is going to be done and, it's no longer needed, but, we are more interested in futuristic trends, because that is going to shape up how we are headed, right? So that's what we are interested. Say anything, if you can know the future, right? People are excited, right? How we are going to do, rather than, how we have done, right? So that's a big tectonic shift where we are headed. So Deepti, there is a, okay, she says, in a nutshell, we collect huge data and analysis that analyze the data using Hadoop to give great customer experience. Okay, it need not be just, yeah, that's right. In a nutshell, correct, Deepti. We collect data, analyze the data using Hadoop as a platform to give customer experience. How we can better the experience. You can still get customer experience, Hadoop use, it can be used as an enabler here. Okay, look at this. Companies using big data for prediction. Look at this, Alibaba, right? They got one of those biggest IPOs, and YouTube, Amazon, eBay, all the major players. Amazon long ago mastered the recommendation of books, toys, kitchen utensils that their customers might be interested in. So, how many people are familiar with the recommendation of Amazon, LinkedIn, Google? You all must have experienced that, right, friends? Yeah. So the LinkedIn, the people you may know feature, right? You all must have seen. So just think about it, right? I mean, many of us, we would have just chosen the people, which is suggested by LinkedIn, right? Just think about it, how powerful it is, right? It is built on a very special, algorithm. It is recommendation. It is done using, it's a kind of machine learning, right? YouTube video suggestions, absolutely correct, right? Those things are also there, right? So recommendation is a beautiful algorithm by itself, right? So just think about it, right? LinkedIn has got 300 million active subscribers. It's probably even more than that today, right? So if you're going to go and want to connect, it's just humanly impossible, right? It's humanly impossible. Facebook friend suggestion, right? So they are just, using this recommendation algorithm, they are suggesting, and most of the times, at least 50% of the times they are correct, right? The correctness is also right up there. So the recommendation algorithm is becoming powerful. It is used in, Amazon long ago mastered the recommendation of books, toys, because they look at your buying patterns. They quickly, and also if you're buying a product, they look at some of this book also, the people who read this book have also read these books, right? They're all brilliant, very, very futuristic. Okay, so give the customer right view of the data. Look at this. By providing customers data that is meaningful to them, companies can develop super fans. Once customers get hooked on the personal data, they are more likely to continue logging in or use the product. Okay, customers will have become brand loyalists along the way. Absolutely, right? Right. The man who loves his fuel band will perhaps buy Nike athletic gear. So it's like customers' right view of the data. This is just we are trying to illustrate this in a better way here. It, uh, any questions here, friends, so far pertaining to these slides? Okay, I'm just moving on. It's just let me know sometime. So we are looking at a case study. I just want to spend some time here as well. Sites like mint.com, LearnVest allow consumers to review their spending by category and see where their money went in a given week, month, year. User spending data is continuously monitored, analyzed to find a pattern which may help user in saving money and spending smartly. How about that? Okay, just before that, there is a question. Is there a name to recommendation algorithm? There are multiple algorithms before, right? Generally, people use, there recommendation algorithm. I think there is a algorithm called, I may be wrong, a priori is one of the algorithms. I could be wrong because, that is something, I don't know whether it is a recommendation, but, there are multiple algorithms before, right? Yeah, sure. Maybe you can look for a priori. That's one of the algorithms which I've used it some time back. I'm not too sure about this, but you can give it a shot. Okay, sure. So user spending data is continuously monitored, analyzed to find a pattern which may help in users, saving money and spending shortly. There are, I can go on and on, how many people are using, the people are like supermarkets, retailers they have jumped into this, right? So many people, like you look at, you can name the domain, right? Everybody's here. So people start, all these analytics. I can quote, few other examples like uh, Los Angeles Police Department, right? So they do a lot of analytics as well as part of their, they use some clustering algorithms, right? So they look at, you know, look at different clusters, on a daily basis, and look at, and the algorithm starts predicting the crime rates, in this area, right? In this cluster is basically an area, right? In this area, what will be the crime rate for today, right? Something like, given the historical data, given the circumstances, given a special event, given the traffic, given this, there are multiple parameters, okay? Given all these things, what will be the crime rate, and at this time, what will be the crime rate, right? So police quickly, they jump in, deploy the, they increase the level of patrolling, and that brings down the crime rate. They have actually brought it down by using this. So it has, it has really served a lot of purposes. So this is in the, police department. Similarly, a lot of people, uh, in the sports, analytics is a huge player, right? People's people, they look at the players' profiles. They do, what is the strength, weakness, and how the team will fare against a particular opposition or an opponent. Everything people analyze it today. So the statisticians, the data scientists, that's a pretty growing thing. In fact, if you go, I think this is a cliched statement what I'm making, they say data scientists, or that data science is the sexiest job in the 21st century, right? I mean, it's a very old statement now because a lot of people have used it, but still people preach now, don't, to the extent that, don't let your child study anything, then, just ask your child to focus on statistics, data science. So that's the level of market we are talking about. It's really amazing market, right? So it's really growing, data science. So friends, I'm looking at the question window. Just let me just take a look now. Okay, I am taking a look. Which language feasible to develop algorithms? So again, Kiran, there is, algorithms, there are a lot of, people use SAS, people use R, people use SS, SPSS, and you can write, you can even write, Python, you can use any of these languages. These are some of the things which are in top of my mind, but nevertheless, there are so many other options as well. In traditional databases, there are many tables. How can we import this table data? How the data will be reliable in Hadoop? Okay, Sriram, uh, there are ways to, there is an option like Scoop that can export the data onto your Hadoop, right? When you say reliability, Hadoop has something called fault tolerance, right? So people, you can, it kind of stores redundant data. Well, I don't want to go deeper in that, but just a surface level thing is, it uses redundancy to provide fault tolerance. So that improves reliability, right? So that's the, like FBI investigate next crime place. Okay, Hemant is asking, just in, with the LAPD, whatever I said, absolutely Hemant. I don't know this part, but definitely yes. Can we recommend to migrate the ongoing business strategy using RDBMS to big data for futuristic analysis, as you mentioned, to the business heads that are placed? Yeah, Sunil. The point is, see, don't say big data as such, because big data is just a, it's a problem, or some big data. That's all, right? So when you say migration, the platform becomes Hadoop, not big data, right? It provides a platform for big data. So Hadoop is the platform for you, right? So here, because we are referring to Hadoop here, okay, and yes, can we recommend to migrate? You can, right? If, but first of all, friends, there are a lot of people also, you have to very clearly know whether whatever your volume you are talking about, right, is it really going to be big, right? Because we look at our forecast and all that. If the data is not going to grow for a very small time shop, right? Let's say that the shop is generating 1 GB of data, okay, every 6 months, right? If that is the kind of data we are talking about, shifting to Hadoop is doesn't make sense, right? So when you shift to Hadoop, we are talking about terabytes and petabytes of data at least, right? Not 1 TB. You have like at least a terabyte of data. That's the thing we are talking about. So anything less than that, even 500 megabytes and all that, right? 500 even gigabytes. I think your RDBMS can handle, maybe with a little bit of challenges, but that is livable. So you need to be very clear, why you want to migrate. But there are people are migrating because their expected database growth is going to be a lot higher than and definitely coming to the terabytes, whatever scale I'm talking about, right? And these traditional ones cannot handle that level of scale. Fine. So you have to be very clear about that. Hemant is asking, I think Microsoft Corona prediction during last Football World Cup. Uh, Excellent, Hemant. In fact, yeah, since you mentioned that, in fact, SAP Analytics, right? They did, I just want to touch upon that since you brought this up. Uh, SAP Analytics, they figured out, you guys can Google it and find out when you have time. They figured out, that the ball possession of every individual player in the German soccer team was about 5 seconds, right? So every time a player has the ball in possession, so he will be holding it for 5 seconds, right? Now, SAP Analytics figured out that, if they reduce that, that means they have to be passing the ball sooner than how they are doing it uh, usually, right? So that way, the ball possession, I think they reduced it by 1.5 seconds, which means I think they came down to 3.6 seconds or something like that. So that really rattled the opposition because the opposition was so used to seeing Germany, play in a different way, right? So then these guys started passing the ball more, quicker than how they were doing it earlier. That rattled the opposition, and we all know the, how they really, outplayed Brazil in a very big way, right? If you actually see the statistics again, the first half is generally 45 minutes, right? Every half. 45 minutes, 51% or 52% was the ball possession was with Brazil. Germany had only 49, something like that, right? And Germany scored 6 goals in first half itself. Brazil was completely outplayed because they were passing the ball much more frequently. That was like phenomenal, right? So that's the kind of, and yeah, Hemant is saying Microsoft winning prediction was 100%. Absolutely. Even Obama, like winning the second term election, right? One of the data scientists predicted to the T how many seats he would win in each state, right? So the level of accuracy was very, very high, right? So which tools are more famous? Shobit Gupta. There are lots and lots of tools. There's nothing like this is famous because everything has got its own uses, right? So I will keep it that way. So can you break data into chunks and find trends on that? Why conduct trend analysis and analysis on huge data set? Yeah, we can see, Ashutosh, the point is uh, chunks and all that. I will give you a very small picture. See, we were the traditional database days, right? It is still there in many companies. We were breaking the data, or we were considering, I would put it this way, we were considering only 10 to 20% of the data. You'll be shocked, right? The rest of the data was not considered because when you move it onto ETL and data warehousing and all that, you need to move the data onto the compute layer, right, from the storage. So that one can effectively cripple the network. if you're talking about data in terabytes, right? So even in the, when the scale is, we are talking about megabytes and gigabytes, right? Even at that point, we consider only fraction of the data because we don't want to risk the performance of the systems. And we also were pretty contented with whatever we were generating. But, and most of the used data quickly were archived and they were moved into tapes and all that, right? That's the way we were operating. Today, we want to keep, we are looking at, high fidelity data. They are all coming from raw data, right? We don't want to miss the entire breadth of the data landscape. So we want to keep that because there is a lot of, we saw it in the previous slide, there's a lot of insights can be derived, right? Because that can influence a major product decision or any, a company decision itself, right? Direction of the company can be determined by looking at the data, right? So we don't want to lose such an opportunity. So we want to keep holding on to the data. So today's platform, Hadoop and all, the data never dies, right? So in good old days, it has a premature death. Today we are talking about, data, it's almost like, it lives forever, right? Fine. So is it possible to apply archival retention? Yeah, it is possible, Yuvraj, but generally, uh, we have this archival, all those techniques are there, but, generally we stick to, uh, in a cluster, large cluster, we keep the data for quite some time. Rohit is asking, are there any live example where org moved from traditional RDBMS to big data? I can tell you, Rohit, Sears, one of the largest supermarkets in US, okay, they were in Oracle, right? So for a fraction of cost, they moved to Hadoop, right? They created a 300 node cluster and they were all done by that. Lot of such companies, have moved, right? So it'll keep happening. You are working in Sears. That is coincidental, Rohit. So Rohit, Sears is a classic example, I can tell you. They have moved to Hadoop. Probably you can throw some insight. Sure. Uh, Mike, okay, Ashut, is there any limitations of Hadoop over other big data platforms? Hadoop is one of the Salman Khan. Okay. So, see, friends, Salman is asking this question. See, it's a fantastic question. Limitations in the sense, right? Hadoop comes with a lot of, what to say, it gives high throughput and it has got high latency. It is not suitable for OLTP kind of operation, right? If you are looking at data mining, if you are looking at OLAP, Hadoop is a great fit, okay? You cannot expect Hadoop to do something, just magic. If you are looking at a low latency query, Hadoop is probably not the solution, right? There are other solutions that can do. But people keep saying, if you go to the, there is a wrong notion, people keep saying Spark is faster, right? It's 100 times faster and Storm is faster, right? These are all later technologies and, there are more that are coming if you go to Apache side. But Hadoop is, the market is still there, right? It will still be there around because, Spark provides in-memory, computing and all that. But, Spark cannot really handle very, very large data like the way Hadoop handles, right? So Hadoop is there to stay as well. So limitations, it probably, it's not suitable for OLTP. That is something I can say, Salman, right? Heard that core Java programming is a prerequisite to move into Hadoop since we are from DBBI. Not exactly, Sunil. Core Java is a preferred skills. It is good if you have it, but I would say it is not a mandatory skill set. Because Hadoop, because personally, if you guys ask me, right, I come from C++ background, C++, then I have a little bit of Java, but today, if you want me to try out some analysis, right, I will look at how big is, though I'm comfortable in Java, right, I look at these things as my alternative because nobody wants to get bogged down, okay, in Java, class path, all those things, right? Nobody wants to get bogged down. We want to move on with our solution, right? Our solutioning focus should be on the how to solve the big data problem, not to get bogged down by all these languages, VI editor and all that. No, no, clear no, right? So I would rather use Pig, Hive, whatever things that can give me the quick solution. And that's the approach of any architect for that matter. And I'm not saying Java will never be used. If you need to use Java, yeah, so be it. But yeah, but there are so many other alternatives. So I don't want you to get, constrained, you know, by that thought. So that's my point. So I have not seen it in recent. Okay. Is it necessary to keep the clusters in some cloud platform, Yuvraj? Um, Yuvraj, people go for in-premise solution also. People go for cloud as well, right? So it's better to, some people have it as a combination. So some people totally have it in private cloud. Some people have it in public cloud and all that. So yeah, I mean, some companies, they go for cloud-based solutions. So it's left to the discretion of companies and individuals. To make a career, what to learn, master. Shobit, it's a pretty vast thing, right? You should look at Hadoop ecosystem tools and all that. There are lots and lots of professions out of that itself. It's nothing like one thing you pick up and So you need to learn quite a few things here. Data is not secured through Hadoop HDFS. Oh, is it, Rohit? No. No, you can secure the data, Rohit. There are ways to do that, right? You can do that. So, and Hemant says, I have heard MRP technology high. Please mention what should be the preference level. Uh, so Hemant, it's all are important, right? All are important. So I would say there's nothing like Hive is better than Pig and all that, because Hive has got its own charm, and you will. Friends, if I need to give you an analogy, all I would say is, uh, see, today we are talking about. I want to give you a very dirty example here, so that you will know. Uh, Back in 80s, many of you were probably not born at that point, right? If you want to pick up a car, right, uh, or even before that, Fiat, just Premier, Padmini, those were like vintage cars today, right? I mean, great cars those days. People used to just go buy Ambassador or Fiat, go pick up the car and come back. 80s, the in thing was Maruti, right? Maruti launched in India. I'm talking about Indian market, right? So now, if you go to buy a car in India, there is absolutely, people can confuse you with multiple brands, models, so many, sedan, hatchback, so many things are the SUV. You name the car, it's all, the reach is so much, right? All the cars are there. You can find Ferrari, you can find Jaguar, you can find Lamborghini. Every damn car is here on the Indian roads. I'm talking about even in Chennai, right? So I'm from Chennai, absolutely. So this is and if you want to go pick and choose a car, right, even though it is within your budget, there are so many cars available. So that's where we are getting to. So you need to embrace the ecosystem. You need to know where to use what, how. So that's the part, that's the trick you need to learn. And Pig is suitable for certain things. Hive is suitable for certain other things. MR is suitable for maybe something other, something more, right? So this is the way the whole technology, the big data ecosystem is moving, right? It's kind of it is gravitating in that direction. So we need to pick and choose what we want, and for that you need to have knowledge, right? So that's where I'm coming to. So friends, I'm going back to the deck for a minute, for a while. So great questions anyways, thanks. So hope I was able to answer to my abilities. So look at case study again. The food dairy platform, MyFitnessPal, gives people not only detail of how many calories they've consumed each day, but also protein, fat, carbs, everything. Improve the interactions. When a customer reaches out, the representative can quickly, efficiently solve the problem if they have the right data in front of them. They won't need to ask many questions, as the customer already knows the answers. Companies who equip their employees with tools provide in-depth customer data stand apart. This improves customer service with each interaction. Okay, before I go there, friends, I want to just give you a picture as well. See, just imagine, this is also becoming a reality, right? So people use some IoT devices and all that, right? So if, let's say, their heart rate monitor for heart patients, that's constantly showing the data, right? So that is throwing, and it is throwing the data into a cloud, which is analyzed and goes into a hospital network where the doctors are constantly monitoring. The patient is somewhere in the, let's say, IoT is Internet of Things. That's right, Rohit. So patient is sitting in, he's at his home. Suddenly there is an abnormal ECG pattern, right? Doctors can administer the medicine, right? I mean, they can at least direct what needs to be done, right? So how will it be done? The doctors can increase the dosage or reduce the dosage, right? Through the data, again, that is read, and the monitor which is connected to a device which is throwing that injection fluid or whatever, that can be adjusted. Just imagine this, right? Or if it is really abnormal, let's say that, the person is rushed to a hospital and, the doctor sends out an ambulance, okay, on priority. All these things are becoming reality because in US, uh, you know, people have gone notches above, right? And this is becoming a reality even in our own country, right? We are planning, our PM is planning to create 100 smart cities, right? A lot of things are going to be, connected, right? So things are rapidly growing, right? So it's all, before you even, next interaction happens, right? People are ready with the data, right? It's they don't need to go verify and all that. When you go there, it's already there, right? Uh, so that's the level of proactive thinking we are talking about, right? It it takes the customer experience to a different level. Okay, Southwest, look at this. Speech analytics to extract data from live recorded interactions between customers to get a understanding of the customers, right? So then what they do, help the airline maximum information about the customer beforehand. When the customer calls, his voice is, organized by speech engine, recent queries, that's it, right? So that's the, Southwest is, they are known for their customer service. So in fact, I want to tell you, like, I've heard about this through one of my professors, when I was doing my MBA. So he said, when people come to the airport, right, especially when they go to the Marriott, you know, uh, people who are, you would have seen people with placards and all that, right? So my professor apparently, he wanted to check into the Marriott, right? So as soon as he got in there, so the Marriott, the guy at the airport counter, he was like casually chatting with him, okay, welcome sir and all that stuff. Then he arranged a chauffeur-driven cab, uh, Marriott cab, right? So then at that point, that person had already recorded all the preferences. So as soon as he got into the hotel, he was amazed to find whatever he liked was delivered, right? So that gave him a wow experience. Then he was like, how did you even know what I liked and all that? Then they kind of blurted out that, we do this just to provide this wow factor. Look at the, so now we are trying to do everything through the devices and all that. This speech analytics is pretty similar, right? Whatever, they try to get this beforehand and, uh, get to this. Okay, Hemant is asking, okay, okay, sure. Now I'm looking at the question window. Will RDBMS completely wiped out? No, friends. Most of the RDBMS players are also embracing big data in a different way, right? So my professor is doing, okay, cloud computing, telemedicine project. Sure, Hemant. Will RDBMS? No. The answer is no, Rohit, right? It will coexist. Okay, okay. Customer pain points and solve them. Most companies know the customers' pain points are, okay. If they don't, they are not paying attention to their customers. Very, very valid statement. Those who are digging deep into the data to solve those difficulties are improving their customers' experience. How painful. So that's okay. So I'm looking at one of the big question. Have 2 years break, I'm concerned. Okay, sure. Shanta, I will take this up after we come to the end of this session. Okay. Towards the end, I'll take. Okay, look at this, friends. Passengers lost baggage is top concern for airlines. So how many times you all would have experienced, right? Lost baggage. I mean, it always creates a flutter when they come and tell you that, even though they may give you assurance, right? They may give you some kind of alarm, some dollars and all that. Some airlines gives you something as a compensation. Even for 2-3 days, they may give you some token money and all that. You will always be worried, right? Just how they've done it, Delta, right? They have created a solution that would remove the uncertainty. You can literally track it like how you can track the FedEx, right? You can track your courier and all that. All these guys have, given the, tracking facility, right? So, Kannan, okay, Kannan is saying big data will not get the response immediate due to required time or fixed time. We'll get the result. How will it? No, 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 Kannan. The thing is, see, big data. We are talking about Hadoop, right? There are numerous ways to tackle with this kind of things also, the analytics part, right? So Hadoop is one of the frameworks or the platform that will host all these other things, right? You can make it faster too, right? It's not that, but if you're looking at, keeping the data into HDFS, that's a different ball game. There are so many other databases that reside on Hadoop, right? Those things can make it really faster, right? Super fast, I would say. It's even faster than your RDBMS, I can say that. Okay. Customer churn prevention. Look at this. We don't want the customers to just jump out of our reach, right? Let's say you have a loyal customer. So if someone, that person, if you know that, is shifting the loyalty, it's a very painful experience for us, right? If we are the retailers, suddenly somebody shifts, whether it is in telecom or retail or anything, it's not a great experience for us, right? Because acquiring a new customer is 5 times more costlier than, this is coming from pure statistics, more costlier than customer retention. So many companies want to retain their customers, right? It's very important that we retain the customers. So it's like, look at it, it should not be the end goal, long-term growth, right? Landing a new customer, it should not be the end goal. So new customers, they are good, yeah, but retaining the customers is very important, all the more important. So customer service and sales teams, look at this, can combine the data, how customer support, look at this, contribute directly to the sales efforts. This is another view, right? Customer service and sales teams. So even I can to do the churn prevention. Okay. So when I say churn prevention, right? Let's say telecom, for example. You know that a leading customer is, is going to defect to another service provider. Let's say you are Airtel, right? And they are having a huge deal with you, and for some reasons you feel that they're going to switch over to Vodafone. So what will you do here? So you will give the, you means the analysts in that department, right? They have figured out, this customer is leaving for these reasons. Could be, right? So maybe they did not get a decent price. They did not get some offers. They did not get because the competitors' price is even more tempting. They are getting a better price from competitors and all that. So that feedback can go to the sales team or marketing team, right? So those guys can provide some offers. Those guys can work on something. They can even talk to the customer, privileged customer and all. They can talk to them and say, okay, we can do this for you. Give them some, promotional offers and all that. So that can change the game. So these are some of the examples I'm quoting, right? Just a minute. Okay. So friends, I will take up questions now. I'll look into the questions now. Just a minute. We are done with the slides here. Uh, I am an environmentalist. I want to measure people's buying habit, provide solutions for sustainable development. Brilliant, Amit. Yeah, you can do that, Amit. Yeah, buying habit. Yeah, sure. You can use any platform here. Supreet is asking, is Hadoop Big Data courses requires to know coding? Can a non-IT person take up data science? So Supreet, the general norm here is, you don't need to be a coder. You need to have an analytical, mindset, right? If you want to pursue data science, then I would say that, you need to have a strong aptitude for mathematics or statistics, right? But if you look at strong, data scientists in the leading data scientists in the industry, right? Whether it is globally or India, they're all PhD in operational research, PhD in statistics. But I don't want to scare people out, or I don't want to discourage the non-PhDs. But if you have strong aptitude for math or statistics, right, you can do data science. Generally that's the. If you have an aptitude, that's good enough. Yeah. And let me take up the next question here. We have different techniques like ETL and ELT. Can we implement these things in Hadoop? Yeah, definitely, Rohit. See, ETL, the extract transformation load, right? For example, you can do the transformation using pig, okay? Pig, Hive, all these things can do, because Hive is a warehouse for, in Hadoop ecosystem. Tools like Informatica, DataStage, Pentaho, Kettle, yeah, see, all these things, right, Rohit? The point is, they all have access to Hadoop as well today, right? They have access. See, you can configure a ETL job using these tools, whatever you're saying. You can do, you can even do it with the, for example, MongoDB. You can do it with HBase. You can do it with Redis. All these are supported by your Pentaho and Talent and DataStage. DataStage, I'm not sure. Informatica, yes. Pentaho, yes. Talent, yes. What are the appropriate domains of Hadoop for DBAs to switch, not having in-depth knowledge of Java? No, Salman Khan, the point is uh, there are lots and lots of domains. If you almost all the domains you can think of, big data is essential. So when I said, when you're looking at technology domain, right? I'm talking about industry domains. When you're looking at technology domains, then if you are coming from database, you can become a database administrator even for NoSQL databases. If you are a Java architect, you can make a shift to Hadoop architect. If you're a Java developer or some developer, right, you can still become a big data developer. There are a lot of streams available. Accordingly you can migrate. Some people even become Hadoop administrators, right? Database administrators. So lots and lots of things are there. What are, kindly share the information which may get immediate response. Khandanant, I'm sorry, I didn't understand this. And apart from 3 V's, is the price going to be hurdle? No, Rohit, because price, when you're looking at it, right, the uh, it's going to be your infrastructure, right? It's going to be done in fraction of the cost, whatever you invest on your RDBMS, right? It comes at a fraction of cost because we are talking about commodity hardware, which is extremely cheap for Hadoop. Amit is asking, I have no IT background. That's fine, Amit. You can still become a, uh, where to start. Uh, I would say you should probably, try to understand, because if you still have a aptitude for technology and overall analysis, if you're an analytical person, Amit, you can still progress here. Can R programming be the first step towards data science? Ashutosh, as I told you, right, R can be used. R is very simple, right? Or SAS can be used. Data science, I would say, yeah, it can be used. Yes. The first thing, you need to, if you're doing R for data science, right, the first thing you need to come up with is, you need to know what are all the, you need to know R from the language perspective. Then you talk about regression, all those, how it does regression, how it does uh, how it deals with different models, random forest, how it does machine learning. So many things are there. R is very powerful, by the way. What are the hardware requirements for running Hadoop? So anything with 4 GB RAM at least should be fine, SATA, right? So 4 GB RAM, at least go for i5 or i7 machine, right? Anything less than that, right? It's going to be a little slow. I'm currently on release management, but I want to shift to Hadoop. I have 6 years. How can I make a career shift? So you can possibly become a, release management. You can become a Hadoop administrator, KK. Right? It's just a thought, I'm not saying, that is the only thing, but, since you are coming from release management, that, uh, you know, um, I'm thinking probably that can be one of the channels you can try. In future, is there any possibility to replace RDBMS with big data Hadoop? We can handle structured data with cheaper cost. Yes. Yes, Kiran, the point is Hadoop can do unstructured. It can also do structured. See, many of the corporates, right? I know that, they use Hadoop as, they keep all the to be archived data in Hadoop, which is not a great idea. But some people also keep, the point is, they want to keep Hadoop as the main storage as well. That's possible. So cheaper cost, is there a possibility to replace RDBMS? It definitely depends on various criteria. Many companies, they still want to keep RDBMS because if you're really talking about, some complicated joins, and Hive can do that, but complicated joins, so many things, right? If the data, let's say you're going to keep a configuration database, right? That can be very much in RDBMS, right? If that is going to be frequently accessed with joins and other things, why do you want to change it to big data, right? So you can still keep portion of it in RDBMS. So it is not going to go away for sure. Recently onto Hadoop, I'm a Java programmer. Can you guide me which ecosystem? Yeah, Nitin, the point is, you have Pig, you have Hive, you have MapReduce, you have HBase and all those things, and you have data loading techniques like Scoop, Flume and all that. So these are all typical ones generally, people learn as part of their, foundation. You can go from here, Nitin. Ashish is saying how to leverage the BPM knowledge experience in big data. Where to start? BPM. Uh, I'm not quite sure about this. Um, BPM knowledge, I don't know what is that, Ashish, maybe you can explain that. To use Hadoop in production level, should we need to know Scala or Python? Survey with good Python. No, Python is great for, Krishna Kumar. Uh, it's a fantastic language. If you already know that, you may not even need R for data science. Python can be used too. You can become, because Python is pretty powerful. Hadoop only tells you how to process big data. Analysis like writing an algorithm. Okay. How to process big data. Analysis like writing an algorithm requires human. No, you can do analysis using Hive and all that. It's not exactly how you are saying. You can also do analysis using MapReduce, using Hive or using Pig. Hadoop only tells how to process. Okay, I mean for. Okay, so friends, any institute like Great Lakes which provide an any how these tools help us, are they correlated? Absolutely yes, Rohit. Right. So I don't know what Great Lakes uses, but they have a course in analytics. I know that for sure. Pure database architect, which area good for me? You can look into the, Kandan, you can look into the NoSQL, right? HBase, you can look into Mongo, you can look into, there's so many databases are there. So that you can take a look. If I don't have to learn technologies like R if it does not have to do anything with Hadoop. Absolutely yes. Can R okay, I think I've addressed some of these things. Hadoop, can I make a career shift? Informatica, okay. Informatica, yes. Informatica, it's a ETL, but yes, you can. Uh, from the ETL to, uh, yeah, you can go to Hadoop. To use Hadoop and Spark at a production level, should we have to know Scala, Python? Can we survey with, yeah, I think Krish, I answered you, right? Should we need to know Scala? Yeah, Scala is a good language, but if you know Java, you're good enough. Yeah. Um, how to run Hadoop on Windows platform? Do we need a Unix platform? No, Nitin, the point is Windows platform can also be used because I think there's a recent version of Hadoop on Windows. I'm sure about that. Uh, Financial marketing HR data, Hadoop going to be useful when data is in lakhs of, absolutely. Uh, yeah, Hadoop can be useful anywhere. But if the data is not really voluminous, don't go for it. I am a student of management on which I should focus. Hadoop or R or Spark. Master management specializing in. No, I think business analytics, I would say Hadoop and R maybe yes, because maybe R more and Hadoop second one. Spark, maybe, I don't know, you can take that later. Just a second, friends. Okay, so friends, I heard Hadoop can only support batch mode, but in this we can't see real time. How do we achieve it? No, Pavan, the point is, you can also achieve real time using, some of those NoSQL. Okay, that makes it much faster, right? So if you're using HDFS and all that, it's not designed for real time, right? So IBM, BPM, Pega, TIPCO, okay, okay, sure. Or SAS, Python. All are great tools, friends. So there's nothing like, this or that, or, don't take those preferences because you need to use where, as I told you, right? Okay, Shanta, I'm coming to that. I have 15 years of experience. I've completed big data or analytics, Mahut, now from Edureka. I have 2 years break in surveys. I'm concerned whether there would be a problem in pursuing my career. Shanta, that's a very interesting question, but lastly, I worked as a senior PM. Okay, domain knowledge is not much. Okay, so Shanta, I think you can still go as a, you have, your experience is never going to go waste, right? Your break-in surveys, yeah, people will ask you, but you can always, uh, I believe in telling the truth, right? If you tell the truth, people respect you. Uh, and of course, you also equipped yourself with big data, right? I would say that, if I were you, I would say that, I've equipped myself and definitely you can target companies, who are trying to migrate or shift to big data or already in big data, right? So you can take up a senior position there, you can lead them there. That's, that's my thought, I don't know how far it is useful to you, but definitely, you can leverage your whatever things, skills with that you have learned, you can probably leverage that. And of course, your experience. Okay, so friends, it's Edureka offers 2 courses or decision tree modeling, predictive analysis. Which one should be better to start with? So Amit, I think both should be good. It depends on what your usage is, right? So I cannot say this versus that. Banking sector moving to Hadoop. So Dinesh, again, I'm not knowing who are all the you can just Google this, who are all the patrons or users of Hadoop. You will find lots and lots of people, right? So please try that. What should I learn next? Hemant says I got my big data certificate. What should I learn next? Again, Hemant, if you want to specialize on something, yes, go for it. But I mean, I will not know what you have to learn, but you can try. I don't know what you want to learn here. If you want to pursue analytics, probably you should learn more analytics and R and all that. So just a thought. I'm a Teradata developer. Is it good if I move to Hadoop? Which area is suitable for me in Hadoop? Uh, Teradata, yes, it already does parallel processing, so it's pretty powerful too. Um, I think you can just start picking up Hadoop. I don't see a problem, Pawan, because it should be a natural shift there. Yeah. Does certificate help me in moving to big data? Possibly yes. You know, for starters, especially for freshers, somebody's experienced. I don't think I mean, I never went for any certification because I thought given the experience I have and given the overall industry experience, big data, I'm fine. But somebody who's a fresher, they need to prove their credentials and all that. Maybe certification is required. Where do we get the data? Bharat Muthu. It's provided by the customers. Where can use free available data? I think generally provided by the customers in real time. But if you want to try out with data, a lot of sites they have huge data sets. You can try that, Bharat. Right? Is there any internationally recognized certification for Hadoop? Uh, I would say, friends, I think Cloudera, Hortonworks, these guys are all offering, right? So you can give it a shot on this. They're all, even your, what is the storage guys, just don't get their name. Uh, so three players in this. So they all provide good certificate, but yeah, it depends on the individuals, right? If you really want to pursue certification, yes. Having close to 8 years of experience in Microsoft SQL DB, what would be the right fit for me to make myself? SQL DB, yeah, you can go to probably NoSQL from here. You can go to NoSQL, Sunil, right? Some good certification. I think I already told you. Sample free download sites available. Yeah, go to Apache site. That's the easiest, right? I have years of experience, so 1 year of experience in IT. Could you please where to start? Just start learning this Hadoop ecosystem tools, Akshay. I think that's a starting point for you. Hadoop software free download, yes. Kandan, as I told you, right? Go to the Apache site, you are all set. How useful are certifications? Gayatri Raman is asking. I think, as I told you, right? It's uh, see in interviews, nobody. If you're wanting to crack an interview, I would say, you would rather be strong in concepts. But if you do a certification, you would anyway put your hands in all these concepts. So that's the belief. So it will still hold some value. I'm not saying it doesn't have value, but if you're confident enough, right, I don't see a need why you should go for certification like Cloudera and those kind of certification I'm talking about, right? So, friends, I think it is, it's 20 minutes, 17 minutes past the time. So I will uh, probably end the session here. So, hope you found the session useful, friends. So I would definitely uh, look at Hadoop as the platform, which can really help, people to how they can improve the customer service part, right, using Hadoop, right? Hope you found it useful. I'm glad that, a lot of people asked a lot of questions, right? So, uh, my only request at this point in time, don't give up. I'm not saying you should, you can definitely, look at various courses offered by Edureka. You can look at various courses. I'm not saying, just Edureka. You can definitely, try to expand your knowledge in different possible ways. Don't try to stop in any manner, right? Don't stop here. So you should continuously keep doing things, in big data and all that, right? So please, my only recommendation at this point in time is, provide your valuable feedback because, uh, it has feedback from you guys has only helped us to come this far. So it's very well, it's really required that, please provide your feedback. So uh, this is my what to say. I think you should be able. You should write to uh, people. I mean, you should write to Edureka support for any kind of whatever information you want. Just get in touch with them, right? So thank you so much. I really, if I have really missed, overlooked some of the questions, I'm super sorry. Sorry about that, because I would have missed it because the scroll bar was like moving like crazy. So I was just trying to answer whatever questions I was able to see till the end, friends. So if I have omitted or overlooked any questions, I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, you guys kept it very interactive. I really liked it. And this is one of the probably the most interactive session I ever had, right? So friends, please get in touch with Edureka for any support or anything. So kindly, yeah. So thank you so much, friends, and provide your feedback towards the end. When I close the session, it's going to ask you the feedback. Please provide it. That's going to be helpful for us. So thank you, friends, at another time.